The Jewish New Year just ended, and it was a brutal one for the Jewish people. Israel endured deadly attacks from Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran, and American Jews have experienced waves of anti-Semitism, protest, and they keep going on, even in some of the most outrageous places, Ivy League campuses. Hostages, including American hostages, are still being held more than a year after they were taken hostage by the thugs of Hamas. And all of this as we wait to see what Iran's leadership will try to do next. The Ayatollah is now calling for a global military coalition and aiming it at Israel. We're going to be visiting today with Elliot Abrams, who has served several presidents, including Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump. He's a senior fellow for Middle Eastern Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations, and he's now the author of a brand new book, and we want to make sure you understand that it'd be good to get it. It's called If You Will It, Rebuilding Jewish Peoplehood for the 21st Century. Elliot Abrams, welcome to our show. We're delighted to be able to talk to you. As you know, I've been a long-time visitor to Israel for over 52 years, and I'm just stunned continually at the level of anti-Semitism that has erupted in this country and across the globe. Why are we seeing this after what has been a relatively peaceful time up until last October the 7th?
First, Governor, thank you for having me on. Why are we seeing this? This is a question that Jews in this country and other places, Europe, have asked themselves, Canada, England, why now? Part of it, I think, is that there are some anti-Semitic campaigns. If you look at what the Chinese are doing, for example, a lot of their social media now is brutally anti-Semitic. Some of it, I think, is anti-Semitism that was kind of hiding away, that people may have felt in their hearts but didn't express. And now they are expressing it. In this country, it's coming from the left. There is this huge wave. It's a kind of new coalition between some Muslim groups, Palestinian groups, and the left. And they've come together on campuses in particular in a pretty brutal way.
You know, as an evangelical Christian, it's been shocking to me because I just didn't see it coming. I got to be honest with you. I feel very close to the nation of Israel, very close to the Jewish people, extremely supportive, believing that it's my Christian responsibility and duty to be supportive of Israel and my Jewish friends. So when I see this level of irrational hate, and that's what I consider it, Elliot, irrational hate, it's not because the Jews did anything to anyone that they can measure. It's not that the state of Israel has done anything. They get accused of stuff, but they didn't do it. And I just can't get over it. But October 7th changed everything. It no longer was just people spouting and spewing. It was people doing the most horrific, inhumane things to other human beings, and specifically attacking civilians. But it did appear that it brought a level of unity within the Jewish people and within the state of Israel. Is it fair to say that maybe the unintended consequence was that it brought people who are Jewish around the world to understand they can no longer pretend that it doesn't matter what they do, what they support, and who they vote for?
Yeah, I think that's right. I really do. As you said, the brutality, the viciousness was extraordinary. And it was a level of anti-Semitism that I think most Jews did not think they would really see in their lifetimes. And one of the effects was to increase the amount of support for Israel in many places, to make Jews draw together somewhat in this country and elsewhere. And, it's created a situation where Israel's finally broken this ring of fire that Iran was building around them. With what they're doing to Hamas and what they're doing now to Hezbollah, and this strike on Iran itself, which I think a lot of people have thought was impossible. And what they've done militarily in the last year has been far beyond what I think most people expected. Obviously, we wouldn't want any of this to happen. And what happened on October 7th of last year, it's a date that's going to live in Jewish history as the worst single day since the Holocaust. But it has brought Jews and people who wish Jews well together.
You know, the economy is uncertain. You never know whether your money's worth as much today as it was yesterday. It's one of the reasons I buy gold from American Hartford Gold. American Hartford Gold has earned a 5-star rating and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Be sure to tell them Mike Huckabee sent you. They'll give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first qualifying order. Call 844-417-1010 or text Mike to 998899. You'll be glad you did business with American Hartford Gold. I think without a doubt it has done that. And I also believe that more people now understand that it is necessary for the state of Israel to keep its borders, not to give up any more land, to hold on to what little property it has for the protection of its people. And otherwise, the chant will become reality from the river to the sea, the Jordan to the Mediterranean, which would basically mean the annihilation of Israel. But there's still a lot of idiocy, just pure insanity on our college campuses. What on earth are these professors thinking and teaching young people when they teach them that Israel should be destroyed? It's just hard for me to get my arms around that.
It is. And I think one of the worst parts of it is it starts with this massacre last October 7th. And the most brutal massacre, as you said, all civilians, babies, elderly people. And it seems to, this is going to sound terrible, but it seems to excite anti-Semites. They seem to be energized by it. It's just absolutely horrendous. But look, I agree with you completely. I hear people now talking, and frankly, in the US government too, about now's the time for the two-state solution. It's nuts. It is insane to think about what's going on in the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority and Gaza under Hamas being a state. That's really a death warrant for Israel, and for that matter, for the King of Jordan. So I'm just amazed when I hear people talking about that now in the conditions in which Israel is living.
Do you think maybe we're finally beyond talking about the insanity of a two-state solution? And I'll be honest, Elliot, I mean, Democrats and Republicans have both been pushing that for decades. It never made sense that you were going to have two people occupying the same piece of real estate, one of whom thought the other one shouldn't exist, and they're supposed to make all this work. But is that over? Are we no longer going to hear that push by diplomats and politicians?
I wish I could say yes, but I don't think so. I mean, frankly, we've been hearing it more and more. We hear it from, we hear it from the new British government. We hear it from the president of France. We hear it from the US government. It makes no sense at all. It makes less and less sense with every passing year. Again, just look at Gaza. You're going to turn that into an independent, sovereign state? But no, it's not over. I think this isn't over until Palestinians want to build something positive, care more about their children and their own future than killing Israelis and Jews. I mean, the main focus of Palestinian politics for 100 years has been no Jewish state, and once it existed, kill it, end it, attack it. And until that changes, Israel is going to have to defend itself.